So here is the OneXPlayer X1 that everyone has been talking about. And by the way, I was only able to get my hands on a maxed out new AMD Ryzen 7 8840U version that comes with a 4TB of SSD and 64GB of RAM, which in my opinion is just an overkill. But I had a good deal from Direct online store and it was the only one available at the time, so I really didn't have a choice but to get it. And according to most reviews I've seen on the internet, the OneXPlayer X1 seems to be one of the best handheld gaming devices out there, if not the best. And if you've been following my channel for some time, you will actually notice that I've mainly focused on 4 handhelds from when I started. The Steam Deck OLED, the original ROG Ally, the Lenovo Legion Go, and then the ROG Ally X. Although based on my testings, I've crowned the Asus ROG Ally X as the best overall for 2024. But when I started to notice other competitors in the handheld gaming industry, I knew I had to look for myself what the others had to offer. So yes, I was really curious, especially after watching the gaming handheld tier list video with the OneXPlayer at the top. And so I really wanted to know if truly this T-Rex of a device would be what finally takes down my Asus ROG Ally off the throne. And if you're wondering why I called it the T-Rex of the handhelds, it's just because with the little controllers on the side and the large display, it does look like a T-Rex, right? Anyways, in this video, I'll be sharing with you guys my first impression from my first 3 days of use on this device, and I'll be talking about what I consider to be the good, the bad, and the annoying when it comes to the OneXPlayer X1. And later on in different videos, I'll be putting it up against the likes of the Asus ROG Ally X and of course the Lenovo Legion Go, comparing them in terms of the performance, form factor, display quality, and all those other good stuffs. Plus, I'll be doing a review also of the new Zotac Zone Handheld with the OLED display, which many think will be a true rival to the Steam Deck OLED. And this device will be here on this channel early in December, and it really seems promising. Really, I just want to get my hands on that. And as you also know, Acer has joined the handheld gaming market as well with their Nitro Blaze 7 handheld gaming PC set to be released early next year, 2025. So it's turning out to be an exciting time for the handheld gaming industry, and I'm totally in for all that. So if you would like to see those videos, make sure to be subscribed and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on anything. Plus, I'm also about to hit my first 1,000 subscribers on this channel, and that will really help me a lot. And trust me, it's gonna be so much fun. So please consider subscribing. Now, moving on, let's start with the annoying part, and then we're gonna start gradually getting into the good stuff. Good? Okay. To be honest, I had mixed feelings when it first arrived and also during the initial setup, which was also the case for the Lenovo Legion Go. But this one actually came in 3 separate boxes, which honestly, I'm not a fan of. Don't get me wrong, I do love a good unboxing experience, but having separate boxes for the detachable controllers and also for the keyboard and the main display was just unnecessary in my opinion, especially when there isn't an option to buy them separately so that the price can be reduced. And what I mean is that OneXPlayer X1 is marketed as 3-in-1, meaning you can use it as a tablet, a computer, or a handheld gaming console. But I personally think it would have been much better if people were given the option to choose what they want for a lower price. So while the idea of a 3-in-1 is going to be interesting for some people who, of course, they're going to appreciate it, I also think most people just need it to be a handheld gaming device. But what OneXPlayer decided to do is that you get to pay one price and all the other components that are added are going to be for free, which in my opinion isn't free. It's just marketing scheme to justify the hefty price of the device. The second annoying aspect was about, the initial setup, and I have to point out that this isn't the fault of One X, but with Windows. You see, Windows is not properly optimized for gaming handhelds. And of course, the OneXPlayer X1 is also designed to be used as a laptop, so most of the initial updates were actually required. There were a lot of updates that needed to be done, which took a considerable amount of time, after which I had to start downloading my games again, which also took another considerable amount of time. So the total time for initial setup and of course the game downloads was about 4 hours, which may differ from person to person, depends on your internet speed. Another thing that got me really annoyed and almost registered the device to be returned was the detachable controllers. Connecting it to the display for the first time was what I would consider the most annoying experience for me. I want to say up front that the Legion Go's controllers are much better and easier to attach and detach than the OneXPlayer X1. And now let's talk about what I consider the bad, and that is of course starting with the design of this device. Trying to make the OneXPlayer X1 a tablet, a laptop and a gaming handheld is what in my opinion really messed up the placement of the port. So when you have the controllers attached to the device, you immediately lose access to the lower USB-C port on the left and also the USB-A and micro SD card slot on the right, which really don't affect anything when playing in handheld mode. But in this mode, if you're planning on charging the device and also you want to connect it to an external display, that won't be possible. That's why any docking attempts will actually require you to detach the controllers before connecting to an external display and charge the device at the same time. And this will in turn make you consider buying the controller connector that goes for another $30, which kind of seemed planned to me. Also, the magnetic back stand has a design flaw as well, because when attached, it only provides an opening for just one air vent. The second is completely covered. I don't know why they did it like that, which to be fair, won't cause any significant effect to the device, but if your device is running really hot, that might actually be the reason. Now, speaking about the detachable controllers again, this is where it gets a bit confusing. Somehow, they feel premium and cheap at the same time. And to be fair, I always thought the grip would be an issue for me because from the videos that I've seen, okay, they looked kind of small, like the hands of a T-Rex. But surprisingly, they feel really comfortable to hold. But the main issue with the controller is the placement of the right joystick and the D-pad, which is just completely wrong. Mind you, these are Hall Effects Pro level joysticks and they feel really good, but using them is just complicated. The joystick on the right just feels so uncomfortable to reach, and when playing games that requires them, I can assure you that you will find the placement really annoying after like 30 minutes of gameplay. You're gonna feel the strain on your hands. The quality of the D-pad is not that bad, and you also get an additional 4-way directional replaceable D-pad in the box. But the placement of the D-pad is also weird, plus it's super clicky and noisy. Meaning if you want to play games at night with the aim of not disturbing anyone, I don't think that plan is going to work. So if I were to rate the controller experience out of 10, I'm going to give it a 5, or let me say 6.5 out of 10. And I personally think that they should consider, redesigning another detachable controllers that can be used to replace this one. I think people are going to buy that one. Now let's talk about the things that I found really impressive about this device, and starting with the display. As someone who is a huge fan of the Lenovo Legion Go for its large size display and vibrant colors, I couldn't help but think this was what the Lenovo Legion Go should have been. So this has a 10.95-inch LTPS display, which sort of gives you the illusion that it's an OLED display, but it's not. It's honestly so beautiful to look at, especially when you're gaming on it. It also comes with up to 1600p resolution, a 540 nits of brightness, which is brighter than both the Lenovo Legion Go and the ROG Ally X, a 120Hz refresh rate, a really nice user interface with which you can easily set up all your controls like the TDP, which by the way you can set up to 30 watts even on battery. You can set the fan mode, vibration, RGB effect for the controllers, the gyroscope, brightness, volume, and many more. All accessible from just one clean looking interface. Plus, I do like the orange color of the entire interface, to be honest. And at the bottom, you will see the gaming handheld icon that brings you to the game library, which honestly looks amazing. You get to see all the games in an organized fashion, and when you hover to any game, it changes the color theme of the background. It all looks so beautiful. Now, the combination of the vibrant color display and high resolution of this device really makes it possible to use this device as a laptop. Like reading text on the screen are just crisp, and I think the display has a very high PPI. The attachment of the keyboard is also very easy, that you will need help in trying to not get it right. I mean, all you have to do is bring the lower part of the display close to the keyboard and it just magnetically snaps into place. The keyboard itself feels really premium and easy to use. The trackpad is also very responsive, just like a real laptop trackpad, but it's a tap to click. You can't really click it. Plus, it supports 2 fingers scrolling, which makes it easier to browse the web page. It also has a backlight, making it possible to use at night when everywhere is dark, and everything overall gives you the feeling like you're using a real laptop, except if you have the T-Rex controller attached, which is going to remind you that you're still using a gaming device. So if you're thinking about using a handheld as your main laptop, the OneXPlayer X1 is really designed for that. You get that big display and everything that you're going to need from a traditional laptop. Now, when it comes to battery life, this device also delivers as well. It comes with 65 watt-hour battery capacity, which I actually find also impressive. Plus, it comes with a 100 watt charger to supercharge the device in no time. The new AMD Ryzen 7 8840U CPU is also something you will come to appreciate, which is a bit better than the Z1 Extreme found on the Legion Go and the Ally X, but we're going to go through a comparison in a different video to see how much better we're talking about. But for me, the exciting part is the fact that this new processing power makes it possible to fully utilize the high resolution of this device, which is something that I can't really say about the Lenovo Legion Go. At least with the OneXPlayer X1, I'm able to run some games at its native high resolution of 1600p and still get a good enough FPS. Another amazing thing is that it comes with a minimum of 32 gigs of RAM all the way to 64 gigs, which is this particular unit. I don't really know who they had in mind when they actually designed this, but this device is actually running better than most traditional laptops. And the best part of this device for me, which is one of the main reasons why I actually considered it, is the OcuLink port that it came with. Meaning I can skip the AMD Radeon 780M integrated GPU that it came with and use an external GPU like the One X GPU 2, which is legitimately going to make this device a high-end gaming PC, beating out most PCs in the market. For this alone, I'm tempted to say that the hefty price is kind of justified, but it's just my opinion. But I can assure you that apart from the flaws that it has, this device is truly on a league of its own. Personally, I don't see me using this as a laptop since I have, of course, my MacBook Pro. But if you're someone looking to upgrade your laptop and still have an amazing gaming device, the OneXPlayer X1 is actually not a bad idea. Or maybe not the X1, but the X1 Mini, since for most people, the 11-inch would be considered too big, yeah? So the real question is, who is the OneXPlayer X1 for? Well, I would say if you're someone who needs a once and for all device that can serve as a laptop, a tablet, and a gaming handheld, and you want to take on vacation, and I would say this is the best in the market currently. I strongly think that the OneXPlayer X1, and of course to be specific, the AMD version, will give you the most value. Anyway, that's been it, guys. If you do like this video, do let me know by giving it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and of course guys, turn on notifications so you don't miss my comparison videos with the other devices, as well as more amazing tech content coming your way. That said, thanks very much for watching. My name is Samson and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.